Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'll be taking a look at one of the latest products from Moza Racing. This is the HGP Shifter. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. Now this shifter is made from aviation grade aluminium with a solid construction, has a H pattern shifter with 7 forward gears and 1 reverse. So I'll be setting this up and testing it out on the Moza R21 wheelbase, but it's compatible with all of Moza's wheelbases, and I'll also test it with the Logitech G29 to see if it will work outside of Moza's ecosystem. Plus I'll show you the customization you have available in Moza's pit house software and how well it performs. I'll also include a comparison with Fanatec's ClubSport shifter, highlighting any pros and cons, helping you to decide if it's worth buying or not. Let's begin with unboxing this and taking a look at what you get inside the packaging. But before I begin, if you're new to the channel, hope you can support me by subscribing and hitting the bell icon to get notified of my next release. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below. In the packaging, you get a round metal gear knob, a coiled RJ12 cable, an Allen key, some screws and washers for mounting, a USB-A to USB-B cable, and finally the shifter. Taking a closer look at the shifter, you just have to attach the gear knob, and by making it removable, you're able to attach other gear knobs if you wanted to. It weighs in at 1.8 kilograms, made from anodized matte black aviation grade aluminium with a full metal construction. It has a H pattern with 7 forward gears and a reverse gear that requires downward pressure to engage it, and this also applies to the 7th gear too. It has a good quality feel to it as you're going through the gears. Underneath the H pattern, there's a dustproof cover to prevent dust from entering the shifter's internal mechanism. You have Moza's branding on the front and 2 ports at the back. The first is the transit port, which is used in conjunction with Moza's universal hub, where you'd plug all your Moza devices into it and you just have a single cable going to your PC from the hub. The other is the USB port, where the other end connects to your PC, and you'd use this method if you didn't have Moza's hub. Mounting wise, you can only deck mount this, and there's no side mounting options available. Underneath you have 12 threaded screw points for mounting, and there's points at the front and back for attaching with a screw and nut. There's also an optional table clamp allowing you to mount it directly onto a desk. Initial impressions, it has a good build quality and it doesn't take up too much space. Compatibility wise, you'd use this with a PC, as Moza's wheelbases aren't supported on consoles unless you get a third-party adapter like Brook, but this only has 2 ports, so one for the wheelbase and the other for the pedals, and there's no additional port for a handbrake. I have tested this by plugging in a standard USB hub, but that didn't work. But Moza does sell a universal hub allowing you to plug all your peripherals into this, and you can connect this to your PC via a single cable. But this isn't something I've tested with the Brook adapter, so not sure if it will work. So as far as I'm aware, you're limited to just using it on a PC, but it can be used in conjunction with other wheels. So for example, you could use it with a Logitech G29, which I'll show later. And before I set this up, Moza have their own software called Moza Pit House, which you can download from their website. You can use it to customize settings and perform firmware upgrades, and you do need to install this to allow you to use their products, and you'd use it to launch games via it. The user interface is simple to navigate around, and on the navigation bar you have your main menu, and underneath you have your individual devices, which gives you more granular settings control. For the shifter, you have the ability to test the gears, ensuring they report correctly, and you have a calibration button. To calibrate the shifter, you'd press the calibrate button, and on the shifter, take it to reverse gear, and then to the 7th gear, and back to the reverse gear, and finally place it into neutral. Doing this ensures the shifter correctly reports on all the gears. There's also a mobile app available on both Android and Apple, allowing you to connect it to other wheelbases via Bluetooth, but you can't see the shifter on there, and as there's no other adjustments you can really do, it doesn't make any difference. I'll be testing the shifter on the Moza R21 wheelbase. On my sim cockpit, this is the TR120 from Track Racer, who are the official partners of the Alpine Formula 1 team. The cockpit's constructed from high-end aluminium that's anodized in black, giving an awesome finish. It's also the first aluminium profile simulator with curbs, which is extremely rigid with 0 flex and has a sleek design. There's also a load of options available, so if you're after a sim cockpit, this is awesome. So be sure to check out their website, links are in the description below. My screen is the LG OLED C1, that's 55 inches in size, which is attached to a monitor stand that's also from Track Racer. It's pretty easy to attach the shifter onto the sim rig. I've got the long arm shifter mount on my rig, and with it all tightened up, you can see it's firmly attached to the rig. So let's test this out. Now if your pedals had a clutch and the game you're playing supported it, you could have it working in conjunction with the shifter to get the most realistic experience. Trying it out, it has a really nice feel, shifting between gears, being very smooth, and you do get a bit of a clunk as the gear is engaged, sort of locking it into place, ensuring an accurate shifting experience. There's 7 gears and shifting into each one feels good, and to go into the reverse gear you just push down and then engage it, which is good so you don't accidentally do it. Overall the experience is good, so really impressed with it. It doesn't feel cheap and nasty in any way and has a good solid build quality to it. On to testing with the Logitech G29, and to highlight, it's not console compatible, so you can plug it in but it won't do anything, so you're limited to using it with your PC, and the general experience of using the shifter is no different to using it with Moza's wheelbase. And honestly, it's a massive upgrade to the Logitech shifter, which has a toy-like feel. Now, an interesting feature that Moza is going to be introducing with the shifter is the first ever intelligent downshift system. And what this does is it applies a short burst of throttle when the driver is downshifting under braking. This raises the RPM to provide a smooth entry into the lower gear, reducing engine braking and shock to the transmission. This negates the need for heel and toe shifts dramatically, improving the smoothness and balance of the vehicle during downshifts. And this auto blip function will be available on the date of release of the shifter and will be fully selectable and customizable via the Moza Pithouse software. And to note, this functionality wasn't available to me as I received an early review sample. As a comparison to Fanatec's ClubSport shifter version 1.5, which retails for under €260, which I really do like as it has a solid build quality but has additional mount options to allow you to side mount it and has the ability to switch between H pattern shifting and sequential. Comparing this to Moza's shifter, on both you do get 7 gears and a reverse gear that is engaged by pushing down, and this also applies to the 7th gear too. And shifting on both feels very good, with the Moza shifter feeling a lot more firmer, giving more of a clunk when you shift into gear, which I'd say feels a little bit better than Fanatec's, which has more of a smoother feel when shifting. With both of them you have the ability to switch gear knobs, and Fanatec provides 2 in the packaging. But with Moza's shifter there's no ability to switch between H pattern and sequential shifting, which is a bit of a shame. Build quality wise, I'd say Fanatec's shifter has more of a premium build quality, but this does come at quite a high price, whereas Moza's shifter costs just under $150. So it really comes down to your budget and the shifting experience you're after, as Moza doesn't have a sequential mode. So in summary, Moza's delivered another awesome product built to a good standard. There's even an optional table clamp which you can buy separately. Price wise you can pick this up for just under $150, which is a real bargain. Negatives wise, I would have liked there to be an option to switch between sequential mode, but if you're specifically after a H pattern shifter, then it won't be a deal breaker. So you've come to the end of another video, and I hope it's helped anyone thinking of purchasing this. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. And if you're still here, drop a shifter in the comments, as it's nice to see who's made it to the end of my video. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be notified of my next release. Thanks for viewing and see you in the next one.